Good morning, student. Welcome to the third lecture of unit number 6. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about pipelining hazards and superscaling operations. Now, in the today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the parallel processing, types of parallel processing, what are the general purpose parallel processing, and memory organization in multiprocessor system. So, let's start with the parallel processing. So parallel processing is basically a method in computing of running two or more processes together to handle separate parts of an overall task. Like in pipelining, we are working on one or more phases of an instruction. Like in parallel processing, we are working on two or more processes to handle separate parts of overall task. Okay, that means breaking up different parts of a task among multiple processors with the help to reduce the amount of time to run a program. In short, we use parallel processing to reduce running time. Okay, to reduce accessing time. So any system that has more than one CPU, that has more than one processors, can perform parallel processing as well as multi-core processors, which are commonly found on computers today. Multi-core means, in the previous lecture we have discussed about, if it is a 8-stage pipelining, that is called as octa-core. If a 6-stage of pipelining, that is called as hexa-core. So these cores are depends on pipelining. Now here we are discussing about the parallel processors, multiple processors. Okay. So and now today's computer systems are basically a multi-core processors. So parallel processing can be described as a class of techniques which enables the system to achieve simultaneous data processing tasks to increase the computational speed of a computer system. Okay, so what is the goal of parallel processing? The goal of parallel processing is to increase the computational speed of a computer system. Okay, like pipelining is used to improve the performance of your system. Likewise, parallel processing is also used to increase the computational speed of the computer system. So, parallel processing system can carry out simultaneous data processing to achieve faster execution time. Okay, so for an instance, while an instruction is being executed in the arithmetic and logical unit component of the processor, the next instruction can be read from memory, same as pipelining. While executing current instruction, we are fetching another instruction. Okay, likewise, parallel processing is also works. That means while an instruction is being processed, while an instruction is being executed in the arithmetic and logical unit, the next instruction can be read from the memory. That means we are fetching the next instruction from the memory. Okay, so the primary purpose of parallel processing is to enhance the computer processing capability and increasing its throughput. Okay, that means the amount of processing that can be accomplished during a given interval of time. Okay, so parallel processing system can be achieved by having a multiplicity of functional units. That means by having a multiple functional units that perform identical or different operations simultaneously. Okay, so the data can be distributed among various multiple functional unit. Okay, this is about the basic introduction of parallel processing. What is the goal of parallel processing? To increase the computational speed and to increase its throughput. How we can achieve this? By using multiple functional units. That means by breaking your data, by breaking your tasks among various multiple function unit. Okay, then next is that what are the different types of parallel processing? So there are multiple types of parallel processing, but two of the most commonly used types include SIMD and the MIMD. SIMD stands for single instruction multiple data, and MIMD stands for multiple instructions multiple data. Okay, there are basically two types: SIMD, simple instruction multiple data, and multiple instructions multiple data. Okay, now this single instruction multiple data is a form of parallel processing in which computer will have two or more processors follow the same instruction set. Okay, this is a single instruction multiple data. That means here we are having parallel processing in which computer will have two or more processor and multiple, but both are following the same instruction because it is a single instruction. Okay. While each processor handles different data, as it is a multiple data, that's why each processor handles different data sets. Okay. So this SIMD is typically used to analyze large data sets that are based on the some specified benchmarks. Okay, the next one is that multiple instruction, multiple data. Now the meaning is given in the name itself. Multiple instruction, multiple data is another form of another common form of parallel processing in which each computer has two or more of its own processor and will get data from separate data streams. That means they are working on multiple instructions and processor handles multiple data sets. Okay, so the MIMD is less used type of parallel processing. Along with this MIMD, the another less used parallel processing type includes MISD. That means multiple instruction and single data. It is very rarely used in our computer system. That is multiple instruction and single data. Okay. So where each processor will use different algorithms with the same input data. Then next is the multiprocessor. Okay. Now what is multiprocessor? A multiprocessor is a computer system with two or more central processing units. As it is a multiprocessor, that means there are multiple processors in your computer system. Okay, so it is a computer system with two or more central processing units. Share full access to a common RAM. These all central processing units share full access to this shared memory, full access to this common random access memory. Okay. So the main objective of using a multiprocessor is to boost the system's execution speed, with other objectives being fault tolerance and application matching. So there are two types of multiprocessor. First one is called as shared memory multiprocessor, and another is called as distributed multiprocessor. Okay. So in shared memory multiprocessor, as here we can see that all CPUs share the common memory, but in distributed multiprocessor, every CPU has its own private memory. Here, all the central processing units sharing a common memory, a shared memory, but in a distributed memory multiprocessor, every CPU has its own private memory. Okay. Then, what are the applications of multiprocessor? So, as a uniprocessor, that means single instruction and single data stream is a uniprocessor. There is single processor working on single instruction and working on single data stream. Okay, so multiprocessor can be work as a single instruction, single data stream. Then, as a multiprocessor, such as single instruction and multiple data stream, that is SIMD, which is usually used for the vector processing. Then third one is the multiple series of instruction in a single perspective, such as multiple instruction and single data stream, that is MISD, which is used for describing hyperthreading and pipeline processors. So this MISD, that is multiple instruction and single data stream, is basically used for the is used in pipeline processors. Then another application is that inside a single system for executing multiple individual series of instructions in a multiple perspective, such as multiple instruction, multiple data stream. So multiprocessor can work as a uniprocessor, that is SISD. It also can be used as a multiprocessor in the SIMD. It also can be used as a MISD, that is multiple instruction and single data, and we can use it as a MIMD also, that is multiple instructions and multiple data. Okay, then next one is that Characteristics of multiprocessors. Now, what are the characteristics of multiprocessor? So, multiprocessing increases the reliability of the system so that failure or error in one part has limited effect on the rest of the system, which is also called as fault tolerance property of a computer system. Okay, so this multiprocessing increases the reliability of the system so that failure of error in one part has limited effect on the rest of the system. That means failure of one part does not affect on the failure of another part. Okay, like mesh topology. If one system fails, but others can, rest computer systems can work. But in bus topology, if one system fail, your entire system will fail. Okay, so your multiprocessing is a fault tolerant system. Okay, so if fault causes one processor to fail, a second processor can be assigned to perform the functions of the disabled one. Okay, that is the property of fault tolerance. Then it improve the system performance. How it improve the system performance? By breaking your tasks into by breaking your data and assigning to multiple functional units. Okay. Likewise, it improve the system performance. So system derives high performance from the fact that computations can proceed in parallel in one of the two ways. So multiple independent jobs can be made to operate in parallel. Second thing is that single job can be partitioned into multiple parallel tasks, and this can be achieved in two ways. Okay, single job, if we divide a single job or a single data set into number of parts, that means into a multiple parallel tasks, this can be achieved in two ways. First way is that users explicitly declares that the tasks of the program can be executed in parallel. Another way is that compiler provided with multiprocessor software that can automatically detect parallelism in program. So actually it checks for the data dependency. Okay. So what are the characteristics of multiprocessor? First, it increases the reliability of system. That means it provides the fault tolerant system. Second one is that it improves the system performance. Now, how it improves the system performance? Multiple independent jobs can be made to operate parallelly. Single job can be partitioned into multiple parallel tasks, and this can also again achieved by two ways. First way is that we can explicitly declare that the tasks of the program be executed in parallel, and second thing is that the compiler provided with the multiprocessor software that can automatically detect the parallelism. Okay. After that, what are the benefits of using multiprocessor? So first benefit is that it enhances the performance. Okay, now this complete unit is based on the improving performance. Okay, pipelining is also used to improve the performance of the processor. Okay, which is responsible for the fast working of your processor. Multiprocessing is also works on improving the performance of your system. Okay, so the basic goal of this unit number 6 is to improve the performance of your system. Second one is that it has multiple applications like single instruction, multiple data, multiple instructions, multiple data, then multiple instructions, single data. There are lots of applications and lots of types of multiprocessor. Then second one is that multitasking inside an application. Then third, high throughput and responsiveness. Our aim is to improve the throughput of our system. And fourth one is that hardware sharing among CPUs. Your CPU shared a common memory. Your CPU shared a common resources. That means hardware sharing is there in your multiprocessing. Okay. Now this is all about the multiprocessor. Then the next concept that we have is a multi-computer. So what is multi-computer? Now, multi-computer system is a computer system with multiple processors, like you can see here in this figure. It is a computer system with multiple processors that are connected together to solve a problem. Here, each processor has its own memory. Okay, here you can see that each processor has its own memory, but in multiprocessor, each processor sharing a common memory. Okay, here number of processors are there, but each processor sharing a common memory. But in multi-computer, each processor has its own memory. Okay, and it is accessible by that particular processor, and those processors can communicate with each other via interconnection network. All these processors are communicate with each other by using this interconnect network. Okay, now this is the structure of your multi-computer system. Okay, each one, there are number of processors, there are number of computer systems, but each processor sharing its own memory. Okay, so as the multi-computer is capable of message passing between the processors, because they all communicate with each other by using this interconnect network. That means each processor is capable of passing message to another processor by using this interconnection. Okay, and it is also possible to divide the tasks between the processors to complete the task. Okay, because sharing is there due to interconnection network. Okay, so hence a multi-computer can be used for distributed computing. So your multi-computer system is cost effective and easier to build a multi-computer than multi-processors. Okay, because all are sharing a common memory in multi-processors. Okay, so rather than multi-processor, your multi-computer system is easier to build because all components are individual. All computers are separately accessing their own memory. Okay, then difference between multiprocessor and multi-computer. Now the first difference is that multiprocessor is a system with two or more central processing units. Now we know that in multiprocessor there are number of central processing units sharing a common random access memory. Okay. Whereas and your multiprocessor system is also capable of performing multiple tasks. Okay, whereas your multi-computer is a system with multiple processors that are attached via interconnection network to perform a computational task. Here we can see that in multi-computer, all your central processing units are connected through an interconnection network to perform a computational task, and they are accessing their own memory. Okay, their local memory. But in multiprocessor, all central processing units are connected to a shared memory. The second difference is that a multiprocessor system is a single computer that operates with multiple processing units. Okay, multiprocessor is a single computer that operates with multiple central processing units. Whereas multi-computer system is a cluster of computers that operate as a singular computer. In multiprocessor, you can see that here there are multiple central processing units. There is a cluster of computers. Okay, this is one system, this is another system, this is another system. So it is a cluster of computers that operate as a single computer. They operate individually by accessing their local memory, their own memory space. Okay, then third one is the construction of multi-computer is easier and cost effective. As we earlier discussed, the construction of multi-computer is easier and cost effective than a multiprocessor. Then fourth one is that in multiprocessor system, program tends to be easier, whereas in multi-computer system, program tends to be more difficult. And the last difference between multiprocessor and multi-computer is that multiprocessor supports parallel computing, while multi-computer supports distributed computing. Multiprocessor works on parallel processing concept. Okay, all the instructions are working parallelly. But in multi-computer, we can distribute our tasks among other central processing units. Okay, by using interconnection network. So that's why multi-computer system supports distributed computing. These are the 5 basic differences between multiprocessor and the multi-computer. So this is all about the parallel processing, types of parallel processing. Then we have discussed about the multiprocessor and multi-computer and differences between the multiprocessor and multi-computer. Now after that, the another concept is that memory organization in multiprocessors. Okay, so now how memory is organized in multiprocessors. So as we know that, as we already discussed in the unit number 2, the memory organization. What is that? In the top of the memory, there are registers. Okay, registers are fastly accessible. After that, there is a cache memory, then secondary cache. Again, there are L1 cache, L2 cache. Okay, likewise. So each processor includes a primary cache and secondary cache. Okay, we know that in the processor there are two types of cache, primary and secondary. That is L1 cache and L2 cache memory. Okay, then only in this figure we can see that there is a processor, then secondary cache memory, network interface and interconnection network. Okay, there is no primary cache memory here. Okay, only secondary cache is shown in this figure because primary cache is assumed to be the part of processor chip. Your primary cache memory is already available on your processor chip. That's why it is not shown in this figure. Okay, after that, the memory models are accessed using a single global address space. As we have seen in the multiprocessor, your all processors are shared a single memory. Okay, so that's why the memory is accessed by using a single global address space. Whereas range of physical address is assigned to each memory module. We know that in the memory there are a number of physical addresses. Okay, so in shared memory system, the processor access all memory modules in the same way. After that, the another memory organization in multiprocessor is like this. Now here, a processor and portion of the memory is shown separately. Here processor accessing secondary cache, but here we are showing network interface, and both are connected to the interconnection network. Okay, so this is the another memory organization in multiprocessor. Here we are accessing these all components accesses to the local memory component of the global address space and taking less time to complete than access to remote memory module. Here mistakenly I have written network interface. It is actually a local memory module. Okay, so this is all about the unit number 6. In the unit number 6, in the first lecture, we have discussed about the pipelining. In this, we have discussed 2-stage pipelining, 4-stage pipelining, 5-stage pipelining. Then we have discussed about the superscalar pipelining and multiprocessing. Then we have seen different pipelining hazards and how to overcome these hazards. And after that, in today's lecture, we have discussed about the parallel processing, types of parallel processing, what is multiprocessor, applications of multiprocessor, then benefits of multiprocessor and their characteristics. After that, we have seen the multi-computer and the basic differences between the multiprocessor and multi-computer. These all theoretical topics are very important for your MCQ based examination. Then we have discussed the memory organization in multiprocessor. This is same as we already discussed in the unit number 2. There is a register process, registers in the processor, then primary cache, secondary cache, and so on. Okay.